Welcome back to Breaking Barriers. Today's episode for me is personal, like really personal. And I'm Sheila Green, CEO, industry leader, speaker, mentor in the multifamily industry. But today, I'm not coming to you just as a CEO. I'm coming to you as a friend because I have my best friend for over 15 years here with me, Miss Takara. And when I say this woman is the definition of strength, I mean it in every sense of the word. This is not just a conversation. This is a story about survival, resilience, and what it really looks like to turn pain into purpose. We're here for a reason. There is an event happening this weekend called Runway of Strength. And we are on a mission to support it. And I really want to help Takara reach a goal of $3,000 in donations, which we are getting really, really close to. And we have someone that is actually going to match the 3,000 when we hit it. So as you listen, I want you to really hear this story because this is what impact looks like. And Takara, I am so happy that you're here. I know you've gotten into broadcast television with CNT and like all the things. And I started this podcast, and it's amazing because we both want to be there for other women and empower other women. And I feel like there's just not enough voices out there or enough safe space for women to be able to openly talk about the things that they struggle with and their lack of confidence, and just to be raw and real. And that's one thing that I've always loved about our friendship, right? Is that I feel like no matter what, you and I have always been able to be real with each other, even in the good times. Yeah, in the bad times. So let's kind of talk a little bit about our story. The first time, the memories that I have that when I think of you is the apple crostata with the ice cream at Red Lobster, and that every night when we would close, we would eat that, and it was not good for us at all.
Nope. Not my healthiest moment.
No, not at all. And it goes against everything that we kind of stand for now, because we're like all into fitness and making sure that, we're taking care of ourselves as we get older. So that's like my first earliest memories was of us eating that. So food brought us together. What's yours?
Right now, I'm gonna be honest, because you started all of this and you made me put on makeup and get dressed today, and now my eyes are already watering and I'm tearing up from you talking about our connection and just everything that we've been through. So thank you for that, because my makeup's already messing up. So no, but my earliest memory of us is just obviously you as a leader and a manager. From the moment that I met you, you were a leader. And I truthfully do not think that I would have progressed to where I am today if I didn't have a you to look up to on the way there. And so you as my manager, you as my leader, but also as my friend, and just someone that I could trust and go to and talk to about all the things that you go through in college, boys and, and money and being broke or lack thereof, or all the things, and just watching you progress through your properties, through everything. And you always being the person who, no matter who had a fire, handled it with a cool head and could put it out. Those are my earliest memories. I mean, obviously you got to put our dessert in there, because that was just my life. I loved it. But those are my earliest memories of you, and just being an example as a leader, as a female leader who was super strong, who knew her way and could navigate any situation. And I remember being younger and being in college and just saying, I don't care what I get into or where I go. I want to be that person that can put out those fires, navigate any situation, and help others and have and leave the legacy behind that other women look up to and say, if she can do it, so can I. And that's where I want to be. So those are
Well, I
my.
have to say that, through the years, you've also been an inspiration to me, even when there's been times that we haven't been able to get together or communication lags. I'm always watching what you and your kids are doing on Facebook, and I'm telling you, like, you have just impressed me. When I saw when you first got the job at CNT, I just kind of chuckled to myself and I'm like, there's my girl. I knew she was going to end up in broadcasting again. It was just a matter of time, but she had to do it like her way. And I feel like you're just so inspiring. And as far as like, just kind of taking that trip with God to have him lead you in the
Yeah.
path that you've ended up in, like in life,
Yeah.
has been an amazing life to watch develop in front of me. So I'm
It's been
telling you,
crazy. I mean,
yeah.
just watching, I feel like I'm the passenger of my own life, like asking God to order my steps and lead me and use me. And he's doing just that. And to graduate with a degree in broadcast journalism and then see it come a full 360, like, I've had this life in multimedia production and then for multimedia production and, doing the books and the spokesperson for them and all of those things. And then transitioning into fitness and working for Crunch and managing for Crunch and then doing all the things and having my own business. And then to see it come 360 back into broadcast where the Lord has literally just combined everything that I love all in one full circle and being able to do it. And I'm going to correct you because you're going to kill me if I don't, but it's Christian Television Network, so it's CTN. But
Oh,
CTN, being able to do that for CTN has been a huge blessing. And I literally am living a life that I could have never imagined. Is so awesome. It's so much fun.
it takes a lot of courage in today, I think in any generation to stand up and say, I'm going to have a faith-based business because it is, people look down their nose, people go, oh my gosh, that right there just shows how much courage that you have and like how much you really trust God and
Yeah.
you kind of put it in his hands and you are fearless, woman. You are so fearless. You
Well,
don't
you
care
said
what
it
other
right
people think.
there. And that's part of it too, is like, here's the thing. I've been down so low that to a point where I didn't see myself getting out of this hole. And I knew that I needed God. I needed to lean on him and promised him, if you rescue me from this point that I'm at right now, I promise you, I will keep my eyes fixed on you and live my life for you. And wherever you tell me to go, I'm headed in that direction. And so since that moment, he's just worked on my heart and he's worked with me. And now I'm not where I used to, and I'm not downing anyone who does, because I know it's still hard. We still want to put our best foot forward and we want to look nice and we want to have great presentation. But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what? If it's not for him, then it doesn't make sense for me. And whoever can't rally around that isn't supposed to be in my circle. And I'll tell you, to speak to the faith-based, having a faith-based business, having a faith-based nonprofit, it is really challenging because we've come up against a lot. My models, who I tasked them when they were first chosen to go out and get 2 to 3 outfits that were donated by either a boutique or athletic and athleisure wear for this event coming up, they kept coming to me and we'd have meetings, weekly meetings, and they'd say, Takara, like, they won't do it because we're faith-based. And I've even had someone who was religious say, well, maybe you should change your name because you're not getting the grants that you think that you'll be able to get because, they won't do it for faith-based or this or that. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit. Like, you want me to change my name in order to acquire finances? And I had to take a step back because I was really sad that coming from someone who is, Christian. And I was like, I had to really do deep work and like just go to God, pray, and do my worship run and just say, you know what, we're going to stay steadfast. There's a reason that the Lord put this on your heart. There's a reason that you are where you are right now, and you're going to get it done, and you're going to get it done the way that He commanded that you do it. So, yeah, it's been a journey. It really has, but we have been blessed along the way, and I am super excited about that. And I think that really, truthfully, Sheila, and I know that you can attest to this too, we all go through those obstacles, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a faith-based business. It could be just being a woman in general. Like there's a lot of things that we have to go through, hurdles that we just have to hop over. Minority, like there's a ton of things. That everybody obstacles that you have to get through, but it's those downtimes, it's those obstacles that you overcome that makes you stronger in the long run. So I can't even say that I'm upset that we've come up against these challenges, because these challenges have just made us stronger. And now we know that approach, and we know what we need to do in order to acquire the right businesses, the right people. And that's who we want to be recognized on that stage anyway. We want the brands who are going to say, we know that you're faith-based and we support that.
Oh, girl, you said those words where they said you need to change your name. That right there set a fire. Like that makes me want to help you like turn that completely around.
It just broke my heart. It was like, really? Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, you don't want to isolate any group. You don't want to say, it just, and even as a faith-based group, I think about some of the groups that aren't religious. If they came to me for help, I'd be right there to help them, because that's what we do. God shows His love through love. We show our love through love, not through, hey, we're going to stay away from this type of group or isolate this type of group because we don't want to be associated with that, etc. No,
that's terrible. And, I feel like even, as a woman in business, sometimes I feel like there's doors that get shut because they're like, oh, I'm not really sure that, I want to go there with this business, is, how like stable is it? Like, is she like super emotional leading this company? Like I hate that, and I don't like that I feel that way. But there are some opportunities, and what I have found is that it does come full circle, and you come back and then they're like, oh, well, you know what? This is actually working out for you. And then it's like, well, too late because I've already moved on and you had your opportunity, right?
Yes.
So no, I love what you're doing with this charity. And let's talk a little bit about some of the darker times. I was actually there at the beginning, and I was always an ear through the whole thing. But let's kind of talk about like what has inspired you to this point in your life.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously the domestic violence background and that relationship is, I hate to say an inspiration, but it was, because it brought me closer to my Savior. And so, being at a point in my life where I didn't recognize myself in the mirror, the night that you were at my house and we just went through that whole thing, you guys had to leave because he came in and like a wrecking ball, and you had to drive back to Gainesville with two kids at 2:30 in the morning. That was a turning point in my life. And that was this can't be real. Like this, you've fallen this far. And you know me since college, since high school, I've always been a leader and a strong woman. And so to fall so far and to feel so weak and insignificant, and like there was just this little itty bitty version of myself left, was a point where I was just like, okay, this isn't working. We got to figure it out. And, the hard part about that, I wish I could say like right after that, I was good. And, everything turned around and it was good, but it wasn't quite there yet. I had to escape, go to Japan. I wanted to stay in Japan to run from this relationship, doing my military tours. I wanted to stay over there. I thought about getting a civilian job on base and just running. And I'm thankful that I also had a mother who was a very strong woman who said, no, 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 you're going to come back and we're going to face this and we're going to face this together. And the fact that I had someone to say, like, we don't have to run. you're going to be okay, and we're going to get through it, and you're going to come back, and you're going to bring the baby that's developing inside of you back. I know you want to keep him safe, but he's going to be safe right here, um, is a really big deal. And if it wasn't for women like you, like my mother, like my sister, who just was there during that time, I don't know that I would have made it through. If it wasn't for God, me knowing that God never left me, he was there, because in moving forward, we see that like the situation with these women got worse. The next one was beat with brass knuckles, and then he's put in prison. And so,
Yeah.
knowing that God had his hand over me that entire time, it just it, it just means the world. But like I said, it was that point of looking in the mirror and not recognizing who I was that really helped me to come back, knowing that, you know, two of my friends, really close friends, had been sent home with their young kids to drive back 2 hours in the middle of the night because of rage. Just, it was enough. It was enough. And I just, you know, even with being pregnant, knowing I was, gonna have a baby, didn't want that baby to grow up and any of this, to feel any of this, that was enough to be like, okay, Takara, you got to figure yourself out. And
Yeah,
give it to God.
that's a hard thing. My sister actually had a situation where it wasn't like physical, it was mental. And she stayed because she felt like her son needed to be with his dad. And I kept saying, like, I don't understand. He stuck your head in a toilet and asked you if it was clean enough. I mean, like, these are things that really happen in society and in America of all places, right? And I just remember I was so appalled that she had me on speakerphone where I could hear that. And I was like, oh, So I got in my car. I was like, girl, you and your son are coming to stay with me. Like, this is not happening anymore. I don't even want to hear it. But honestly, it wasn't, she had to make the decision. And that's what's kind of frustrating. Like, if you don't like go, okay, I want this change, it's not going to change. And I was really impressed with how quickly you decided this isn't working and I'm done with this. And I will tell you, the one thing that I remember about that night was your TV crashing and there being water like all over the floor. Like, is that so crazy that my memory of this is like a broken TV and water because he like totally crashed out your whole apartment. And, like we spoke with him and he just had this really strange look on his face. And I was like, all right, we're out. Like, and then I'm all worried about you. And I'm like, oh my God, don't go back to your apartment. Like, you need to go to your mom's. Like, yeah, like, oh, we're headed back and it's fine. Don't worry about us. I'm just worried about you. And it just like progressed from there. I just remember you trying to get away and get him to leave you alone was just crazy. And then the pictures that you sent me of the other women after you that he was involved with was just, it like gave me goosebumps and it actually made me cry because I was always like, oh my God, this could have been my friend. Like, this is terrible. So it's,
100%. But you know what? God did have his hand over me and he had his angels protecting me, because that could have been at any moment. And I'm thankful that through, like, miraculously, because Kai's conception was miraculous. Like, I was on birth control. I was, under 16% body fat. I remember being 11% body fat when I got pregnant. And that's a medical miracle, because you're not supposed to be able to get pregnant with that because there's not enough fat on your body. And so, you know, it was through that miraculous like conception that like I realized that God loved me. And if it wasn't for Kai, truthfully, Sheila, I don't know that I would have been able to do it as fast, because at that time I didn't love myself enough. I didn't even recognize myself, but I knew I loved the baby growing inside of me. And that's all I knew. I had to humble myself a lot. I loved my place that I was at. It was nice. It was on the river and we had a hammock
yes.
and all the things. But I really had to humble myself, get rid of my place, move back in with my mom in order to be safe. And those are things that things that I had to walk through that other women have to walk through. They have to look at themselves and say, okay, is this a pride thing now, or is this a safety thing?
Right.
And that's a big thing, is because a lot of us want to be independent. We want to say that we've done it. We want to say, we didn't need anybody to do it. But the sooner that we humble ourselves and realize if we're in a situation like this, we need a community, whether that community looks like a domestic violence shelter, a church, if we don't have relatives or close relatives that we didn't think were close, or just a group of friends that we can go to and literally be like, hey, this is what I'm in right now. I don't want to stay here. I need your help. Then it's that person that definitely has to make the decision. And to your sister, sometimes and most times, those mental wounds are harder to get over
They are.
than the physical wounds, because the physical wounds heal, right? Like he broke a bunch of stuff in my apartment and did something with my dog, which the dog thing was a really hard thing to get over. But those, the broken TVs, the water in all of
Can
my
be
electronics,
replaced.
those can be replaced.
Mhm.
But mentally, it's the you look like a man, you'll never find anybody. Nobody could ever love you the way that I do. Nobody's gonna do the things for you that I do.
Yes.
Or just the making you feel so small that has to be replaced with biblical truth. And I've gone through a healing process where I do this in group homes as well, but replacing those lies that they said. So you're not enough, where God says that you're chosen and that you have purpose, that you're ugly and you look like a man. Well, God said that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, and he made me look this way for a reason. And
Yes.
so just replacing that. And I mean, I have an amazing husband who ultimately he confirms all the time those lies are just that, lies. He's always saying how beautiful I am, or how beautiful I look, or how nice I look. And even when I diminish what he says, and he's like, yeah, somebody else can tell you, and I tell you all the time, even though, because I'm like, you're just saying that because you love me,
Oh, I love me some
even
Brandon.
though,
Like he's like the favorite of all the guys that you've ever dated or been with in our um time together. He's like my favorite. So
I'm
I mean,
happy
I'm
to
so
hear he's the
happy.
favorite, because he's the forever. He is the forever. We are in this thing until the end. He is my best friend. He is my soulmate, and God knew exactly what he was doing. I didn't think that I deserved anybody like him, but even through all of the hardship, he stuck it out with me, and he is still confirming to this day why he is the perfect man for me every single day. I'm so blessed to have him.
Yes, I mean he's such a great guy. Like I can't even say enough about him. So let's talk about your journey to the bus.
Okay.
Let's talk about the bus.
Journey to the bus. Let me
The
tell you.
bus.
Um,
Yeah.
so I knew God had placed it on my heart that I needed to break away from Crunch and do something of my own. And so I started faith-based personal training, which is essentially concierge style mobile training where I go to my clients. And it's different. It's not secular music. It's, spiritually fed music. But where I could be more one-on-one with my clients. But I knew that it was supposed to be the vision that he gave me was like, I need my own gym where people can walk into this gym and there's nothing but Christian music playing, and they can be spiritually, physically, and mentally fed. It's not just the physical part of it, but it's more than that. And we can have real conversations and real fellowship. And so in the time of like right after COVID, I thought, oh, well, we're going to go do this, gym, and I'm going to rent this place and lease this place. And leasing was very expensive, and it was more than my mortgage. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I hope that this isn't what you had planned, because financially, I don't have this. I don't know what we're doing here. And that night I prayed on it and I went to sleep and couldn't sleep. And so I got up and I'm on Facebook Marketplace and saw a schoolie, a bus that somebody had turned into a tiny home. And my first thought was, whoa, what if we could do this with a gym? what if we could make a gym on wheels? And so then thinking me, I'm like, oh, well, this had to be done. Let me research it and we'll figure out a platform and then maybe we could do it. Yep. So it hadn't been done. And I was like, okay, so how do I go to my husband and tell him I want to purchase a bus and we're going to turn it into a gym on wheels, not being able to show him, oh, this is the model or this is how. And so I
Let
did.
me
And
ask you
he
one
literally
question.
said, go
What was
for it.
the first question that he asked you? Because I can think of the first question I thought of.
Well, the crazy thing is that when I told him, because I was really nervous, I changed a lot, and my husband isn't great with change. He doesn't like when we change. And so I always describe him as the boulder, and I'm the rushing stream around, right? He's the boulder that just stands firm in the middle, and I'm just rushing. And so I'm always changing, and there's always something new. And I was like, how am I going to tell him this? I went and said it, and I literally just said, I think God wants us to buy a bus and turn it into a gym on wheels. And I just waited for it because I was like, what is he going to say? And he literally said, I love it. I think that's great. Let's do it. And I couldn't believe, like, I was just like,
He didn't say who's going to drive it, because that was the first thing I thought whenever
he
you
did
told me.
not. But I will tell you that afterwards, he was like, I will not be driving it. So he immediately took himself out of the picture and was like, that's fine. We're going to do this because God said, but I'm not driving it. And he still hasn't driven it to this day. I keep telling him, honey, you're going to have to learn. He has not driven it to this day. He's stuck by his guns. So,
So did you have to get like a CDL license to do this? You
so
did?
technically with air brakes, you are supposed to have a CDL. Since I'm not transporting, it's a little bit different. It's like a gray area. But it's funny because I know that all of my friends in my close circles, including you, are like, she is a horrible driver. How is she driving this bus?
All I can say is God has like angels and like bubble around you that we can't see with you driving, because I would be taking out like light poles and everything else trying to turn that thing. Like I wouldn't even want to. I'm with Brandon. I'm out. So,
When
but
you
that
come
is
in
so
town for
awesome.
the event, you make sure you ask Annie about the what we hit, because there has been something that has been hit driving this bus.
I can't wait to
I
hear
cannot
these
lie.
stories this weekend. So that is what I am super excited about this week, and the reason why we decided to do this podcast was you're having a charity event, a fashion show this weekend, and I saw it on Facebook, and it was so funny because you called me and wanted to FaceTime. So of course I had to brush my teeth, right? And you were like, oh yeah, because I can smell it from Florida. But anyway, yeah. So you were telling me about this, and it was on my heart when we hung up. And I thought, you know what? I have all of these air miles that I never use because I travel a lot. I'm going to Florida this weekend. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna support my girl because I believe in this cause. I mean, I personally have not been through domestic violence, but I will tell you, and I think it's important for our viewers to hear this. I feel like when I was the VP of operations for the company before Rainy that I'm working at now, we had a CEO that was my direct boss. And I am going to tell you he was it was like a narcissist environment, and it was like tear you down, make you feel bad. You feel like oh my God, I'm about to get fired. Then like, oh, you know what? You just do such a great job. I'm so happy. And then like the next day, you just never knew what it was going to be, to the point where it was like me and everybody that worked under me, we all had like PTSD. When we saw his name come across our phone, we were like, oh God, what's about to happen now? And I mean, and some things that were said to me, I'll share this. Um, there was money owed to me for travel, and he told me that I shouldn't ask for that money back, and that he paid me so much money that I should have plenty of money to support that and then some. And if I didn't, he needed to look at my finances and give me financial advice on how to better manage my money. I have never had anybody be so disrespectful. I remember hanging up and I like burst into tears, and I just felt horrible. And, one of the reasons that I left was the way that he treated the employees. I mean, the women, he just treated them horrible. And the guys, he was wasn't great with, but he didn't treat them the way he did us. And I remember going to the VP of operations and telling her, shame on us. I shame on me and shame on you, because we're both VPs and we allow all the women in this company to watch us be treated the way that he treats us. And we're saying it's okay because we're still here. Well, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to file a formal complaint against him. And she was like, oh my God, do you realize what this means? I don't care. I want to file a formal complaint. And I'm going to be the example to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore, because I stayed for as long as I did because I felt, and you know how like I can be this way, but I felt super protective of my team. I felt like I can put up with it and shield it from them because I've made this great team and they're doing such awesome things. And if I can just keep him away, I'll bear that burden. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I was the one that got beaten down, and you can only take that for so long. And so it's almost like domestic violence at work, and it happens. And
I
you
actually
cannot.
just had this conversation. So if I can interrupt really quickly, because
Yeah.
this directly relates. This weekend, we were looking for some mirrors. And so I went on Facebook Marketplace and asked if a girl who was getting rid of a mirror would donate it. And so I met up with her, and she was going to donate her mirror to us for the runway for the models in the back. And she asked me to tell her a little bit of my story. She told me a little bit of her story. Well, it turns out that she was a domestic violence survivor. And she is actually moving to Italy because she said, Takara, I knew this. I knew that you could be in a domestic violence relationship. What I didn't know was that you could be in a domestic violence relationship where it's work employee. And she said that, and I just shook my head because I remember us talking about some of these things that you're talking about now. And she literally said, I put up with it for 4 years. And she's like, I made great money, but they were abusive at work. And
Yes.
she was like, I'm so happy that I made what I made. She bought a place in a condo in Milan, and
Okay.
she's going to pursue her dream of being an artist. And she actually, one of her paintings will be at the show. But she just said, she's like, I took so much abuse at work. And it's just as bad because it's the mental abuse that we're talking
Yes.
about. It's that beating down, beating down, beating down.
Yes, it is. And that's not okay. But the cool thing is, and I feel like I'm a people collector, but because everywhere I work, I find I just find people that I don't know, like I just connect with. They become my people. And so when I came to the company I'm at now, like 5 or 6 of the people that work for me at that company came with me. And, it was like one of those things where I remember one night I just kind of started crying because I was like, I never realized the influence or like that how much respect people have until you have people that follow you, right? And so I've always said that I would never ever allow a work environment the way that the last one, I was like, I've got to be at the top so I can just control this. And so here I am, I'm CEO, and and I feel like I have Paige from one of my other properties that I worked at in Gainesville. Like we all just meshed and we keep in touch, and I love it. And and I will tell you, it was really scary when I changed jobs. I remember praying about it. I was like, oh my God, I got, Seth is about to graduate from high school and Cade's in college, and I've got this house and I got a car, and like, how am I going to do this? And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a leap of faith, and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say no. And I'm just going to be like, you got this, and you're going to carry me on. And actually, you know what, Takara, it was the best thing. And I ended up with a much better company, and I have control, but I understand those signs and I think you do too. Like when you were talking to other people about things, there's like signs that you go, oh, this is not right. This is not going in the right direction. And maybe this person needs to hear, something that gives them encouragement. And so your charity just really kind of touched me. So I have to go there. And I have a way of like kind of taking over conversations. So we're
No,
talkers,
it's
both of
okay. You
us.
know what's funny is that you said something that really pertains to how the bus came about, and it's taking that leap of faith, right? It's essentially where it's the scariest point, but you know that the reason that you're taking the leap is because there are people out there, your team, who needed you. And they needed to be in an environment where they could work and do for their families and do everything that they needed to do in order to survive, but in a healthy environment. And so it's taking that leap of faith and doing the right thing is how the bus got here as well. I've never driven a bus, never dreamed of driving a bus, never thought that I'd be driving a bus. And most of my friends would say I shouldn't be driving a bus. So, but God has a way of using us and using the space. And so that bus is essentially there to help those who have been abandoned, trafficked, and abused. The people that have gone through things that are unimaginable to those of us. And I include myself in that, even though I've been through domestic violence, it is not as bad as some of these women have gone through and have journeyed through. And so if there's something in the community that, a bus that we could drive around and say, like, this is a donation-based workout. All you have to do is donate anything as little as $1. You can come and work out. We're going to worship. We're going to fellowship. We're going to, physically get right so that you release dopamine and great chemicals in your brain that make you feel better. And then at the end of the day, if there's something that you need a community for, we're going to be right here to back you and support you.
Right.
And that's where that has grown from, for sure.
And I wrote about this the other day, that you have to pour into yourself. Like, you have to take care of yourself. You can't give to other people if you don't love yourself, if you aren't investing in yourself. And I feel like, I can't take my employees to the next level if I am not investing in myself and feeling, that I can do this. So I just think that just the fact that you are so into physical fitness that, like, you're not only physically like great, you're spiritually full, like, that is just amazing. I just love to talk to you. We should do it more often, which we will.
Agreed.
But I think that, when you were telling me that you go to group homes and you work with the kids, like, that gives me goosebumps too, because I love me some kids, and I love to help with kids and stuff. So the fact that you're going to these group homes where they haven't had the best family life and they probably have always struggled, and to have somebody invest in them, and like, so like, physical fitness to me, that's like so tangible, right?
Yeah.
And how cool is that? Like, tell me a story about, one of your group home visits.
Yeah, so and I'll tell you about the boys because we just recently started working with the boys. I was working with the girls. We do yoga, and I always so with the girls, what I do is I have them write on a sticky pad one lie that they were told about them, and then I would replace it with a biblical truth. And I do this every time in
Oh, I love
telling
that.
them, like, if they say, people have said that I'm ugly, that God says that you're created and you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and He loves you, and that you have purpose in this world. So, doing all of those things, or that you did something wrong, that you're redeemed, you don't have to stay in doing whatever you did wrong. That's not
Right.
who you are. So going to the boys, I was like, this is different. These are boys. Like, how are they going to relate to me? I don't know if I can do this. So, like, I'm trying to prep my husband, who is not the talker of the family, that's me, to talk to these boys and whatever. And Sheila, I'll tell you, the workout spoke for itself in going to these boys. We went and we did this workout, and I talked to them a little bit, and I'll tell you, at the end of it, them just being able to get out some of their frustration, hit a punching bag, slam balls, as we do ball slams, do wall balls, jump around, do teamwork, because we have team bonding where one person's pulling another person and then you're running, but you're the resistance for that person. And these kids are doing this without shoes on. One had an ankle bracelet on. Like, they've gone through some things. And at the end of it, I know it's successful because they're like, Mr. Carr, when are you coming back? And
Oh,
so, and will you promise you're going to come back? It's that knowing that they've experienced that abandonment. This is something that's given them joy and release as well, because a lot of them are holding on to sadness and anger. And when we do ball slams, we translate that. If there's something that you are sad about, you have anxiety, you're angry, you're mad, slam that ball as hard as you can and leave it here. We don't want you taking it with you. Hit that
right.
bag as much as you need to. Leave it here. We don't want it taking. So the fact that they're looking forward to us coming back and they're running up to me and saying, "You promise you're going to come back. You promise you'll be back." That is a huge testament to this is why we do what we do. They need
Yes.
something, some sort of stability in their lives that they know that a person, when they say, "I'm going to be back," is really going to be back. They're
Right.
really coming back. And then for the women that, are going through, and they're part of the reason we're doing this fundraiser with the fashion show, they come through after stings, Sheila. They don't have anything. So these women are rescued like out of trafficking and stings, and the police, this is their next stop right after they get evaluated in the hospital. So they come out and they go there and they have nothing. And there's a gym there, but it's like they're not really utilizing it in the correct way, because for anybody that hasn't been in the gym world, the gym is an intimidating place. Like, you don't know
It
what
is.
you're doing, you don't know
Yeah.
what you're using. And so, if you don't have someone there really to guide you and to inspire you, then it is like, hey, I'm going through the motions and I may be doing this thing, I may be doing it right, but no, I'm not inspired to use it because it's an
Right.
intimidating place. And if you have somebody though that is there and that's going to
Mhm.
help, and then you also have clothing where you look and you feel good in it, then you want to go use it. And we all
Yes.
know that using it then helps produce great feelings. You feel better about yourself. You are literally, there is a chemical release that happens. And so I can't say that enough, that it's helping these women to feel empowered. It's helping them to feel good. It's helping them to feel strong when they are feeling their weakest.
They also get that community, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like, that is just, it's super important for them to have that connection with somebody, and confidence feeds confidence. I mean, it really does. And that just, I can't even imagine. Like, it's awesome. I love what you're doing with this. So talk about like what exactly is going into this fashion show this weekend. Like, we're raising money, like where's the money going, all that good stuff. Like, I know you have like a 501(c)(3).
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So we have our nonprofit. It is a 501(c)(3), just like you said. And all of the finances that are raised, and the reason that we're doing this donation match and all of the things, is so that we can continue our mission throughout the summer months. Because right now we operate on fans within the bus during the summer, because we use the inside and the outside of the bus. So while
Hmm.
people are at the back, we can't run the bus because there's exhaust, right? So
Right.
essentially, we run into the issue of, okay, either it's going to be really hot in here where people are passing out, or we're just going to use one and then the other, which limits the numbers that we can handle. So, in
Right.
order for us to continue to bring the bus, and we also work with kids with disabilities. So, we've started working with We Rock the Spectrum as well. And that's been a huge success. I'm so
Ooh, love
excited.
it.
I get really happy because the first day we went to We Rock the Spectrum, she said, "You're like some sort of miracle. Like, I've never heard them this quiet before." And I said, "No, I'm really not. I just exhausted them. That's all that happened." That's what that was. But in order to continue our mission, we are going to get a generator and an AC unit installed on the bus. So that was the entire reason for that $6,000 raise, is in order to really install these things so that we can keep going, because Florida gets really, really hot over the summer. And even with industrial fans that we have installed, or that we place out, and then our standalone generator, we really need a generator attached so that we can cool the inside and just keep going with our
Right.
mini.
Awesome. Okay.
And then
Um,
you want me to get into the fashion show? Because
yeah,
there's
yeah,
more.
no.
There's like multiple purposes. So I get really excited about it. We're helping lots of people and I'm super stoked.
Yes.
Um, so the actual fashion show, the clothing that was donated by the amazing brands. And we have some awesome ones: YPT, Sportix, Valor Fitness, Fit Dad Bod, which they have a Fit Mom Bod line. So they donated stuff from their Fit Mom Bod line, which is really cool. Observame, which is a huge company that is sponsoring us. And they're all about second chances. So Observame in Spanish means watch me. And so it's watch me. And it says it's like the second time around, watch me this time, because I'm going to raise and skyrocket.
Ooh,
And so we're really happy that they came alongside of us. But all of those clothes that were donated by these amazing brands will go right to Selah Freedom, which is a company that we're partnering with, that those women are coming right out of those trafficking stings, right out of being rescued out of prostitution, and they go there and they literally have nothing. So we're excited because these clothes have only been worn once, and then they'll go to those women so that they can feel more inspired to do those workouts. And then on top of that, the models that are in the show have either been directly or indirectly involved in domestic violence or trafficking. So, or abandonment for that matter as well. So each one of them has a story. And so we are not only empowering the women that will get those clothes, but we are empowering every woman who steps foot on that stage. And we're teaching them to be confident, and that they are beautiful in their skin, and that, there are people that support them and brands that support them and want them to be in their clothes and want them to walk on the stage and represent. The fact that there are second chances, and that no matter how low we fall, we can rise again and be on a mountaintop.
Love it. This is going to be so fun. I'm going to take photos and videos and all kind of stuff, so I can share with everyone the amazingness that's going to happen on Saturday. And I'm super excited to see you. Where are we at with raising money?
We have raised $2,650. So I am so excited. We got another $300 donation in yesterday. We are almost there. So we are almost to our goal of $3,000, and God has been good. Our community has really just rallied around and supported us. And we are so thankful for the people who recognize the importance in what we're doing and are just like, we don't care. This is amazing. This is a great cause. We need to raise awareness surrounding trafficking. We need to raise awareness surrounding domestic violence, and we need to make more and more people aware, because I don't know if you know the numbers, but 1 in 4 women are in a domestic violent relationship. And so if you get together a group of 20, which one of the girls that is modeling with us was a cheerleader with me on the team. We had 24 girls on our team, and it just blew my mind, because in thinking about those numbers, me, one of my models, and then there would have at least been 4 other women that experienced domestic violence just on our cheerleading team. Thinking about that,
that is eye-opening. Yeah, that is crazy and sad. And, it's good that we have people like you that get behind them, and you're out there doing everything you can to help. So I'm just going to say this, it sounds like we're not far from our $3,000 goal. So I know. So what I would like to do is raise the bar and see if we can get to $4,000, because this is what I do, with my properties. I always tell my leasing consultants, I'm like, okay, so we're going to get 5 leases a week. And, but once we hit our goal, and, then you add to it, right? So I think that this is really exciting, and I would really like to help you get to the $4,000 mark. And I'm going to, put everything that I can, Takara, into helping you with this, because I'm excited about it and on fire, right there with you, which, was one of the reasons why, I just, my heart said I needed to go. I felt like God was talking to me. And so here we go.
I'm thankful that he did, because I need you to come. I need you on my side as we do this event for the first time. Because you're that person that's like, yeah, I got this. We got a fire. It's okay. We're good. So I need a Sheila in my life this weekend. And so I'm so happy that God spoke to your heart.
Yes. No, for real. So, do you want to tell everyone how to they can get involved, or how to make donations?
Yeah.
Are there tickets left for it this weekend?
There are only 18 tickets left for us to be sold out, which is another like huge blessing. Like this is the first time event. The thought that it could even possibly be sold out is blowing my mind. But we have 18 tickets left. You can either attend or you can donate by going to runwayofstrength.org. Right there on that homepage, you will see the donate button or the buy tickets button. Our goal is to sell out. I want it to be a packed house. We have some really great things in store: dances, performances, raffles, all the 9 yards. We got the 360 video, so Sheila will have to get on that and, dance a
Absolutely.
little bit, and then post that later, which will be a lot of fun.
Yes.
So we've got big marquee letters. Piper Marquee donated 5-foot letters that say fearless. So fearless will be there, lining the back of the stage. So people will be able to take pictures with that, just marking the fact that they are fearless and we are going to stand up for this cause, and that we are a community that's fearless, and we will fight for the people in our community that don't feel as strong right now.
That's right. You've got somebody, like, you're never alone. Sometimes when we feel alone, you're not. Like, you have God, you have people in your life that he brings in that help you with things. So I absolutely love this whole thing.
Yeah, there's a Bible verse where Moses, he had to hold his hands up for God. And it says in the verse that his arms grew weary. And when his arms grew weary, God sent Aaron and Hur to hold up his arms for him. And so that just shows the community that God sends us. And my gosh, like, not to get all preachy, but to get a little preachy, like, I am so blessed and so excited that God recognized early on in my life that I needed a Sheila and that I needed somebody like you in my life to come and hold me up in those moments where it was just really, really hard, because you were absolutely there through all of those hard times. So why not pass that along and be somebody else's Aaron or her helping to hold them up?
Yeah, you've held my arms up too when you loaded me down with weights. You're like, no, not yet. You can do this for like 30 more seconds. All right. So yes. Well, this is what, breaking barriers is all about. And it's not just overcoming, but it's about, reaching back and pulling someone else forward with you. Takara, I love you and I am so proud of you. And you know what? We're going to make sure that people show up for this. And to everyone listening, if this story moved you, do not just sit with it. Do something with it. Support the cause. Share this episode. Be part of the impact. And I cannot tell you how, like, I have goosebumps right now, and just knowing everything that you went through. And, I will tell you that the biggest rock, and actually I will share this and I don't want to upset you, but one of the women that I always looked up to was your mom. Tanja was like, I could even go to Tanja and talk to her. And I know that she and I had conversations when you were going through this, and she was so strong. And I always just was like, man, you know what? I want to be like Miss Tanja, because I don't know how you go through this and stay strong and don't lose your mind and want to choke somebody out, because I really wanted to choke somebody out during this whole thing. I'm not gonna lie.
She probably didn't want to choke somebody out, but
Yes.
She held that together real well.
Well, if you want more conversations like this, more real stories, and more leadership insight, make sure that you're connected with me. Follow me on social media, like, share, comment, and click the link below to support this event. Your support matters more than you think, and together we can all make a real difference. So I'm Sheila Green, and this is Takara Fuller Doby, and we're going to make a difference together.